Alright, let's get into the next round. Unlike what I was planning on, this isn't just a couple of minutes later, this is actually the next day. I decided to play around with a video editor and try to figure out how to get everything done correctly, which I've almost figured out, I think. I still need to figure out how to stop the audio and video from getting out of sync because I don't want to bother people with something that's awful to watch. But hopefully I figure that out soon. As a reminder, this is the deck that we're playing while we're waiting on the match to pop up anyway. Last round was against the blue-white Ensoul artifact deck that has been popping up recently. We got pretty lucky and they didn't have Ginger Brute in Game 1 or Game 2. Otherwise, I don't think we would have at least gotten the 2-0 there. But the deck performed pretty well. You got to see how Sai can just make a million blockers, and you got to see how Sai and Antiquities War works together really well. And we also got to see Whirler Rogue come in handy, which was nice. Alright, let's see what our match is. We lost the die roll, and we're definitely mulliganing this. This hand's pretty good. I think I'm just gonna ditch the Ensoul artifact and hope that we draw a land so we can play Karn on turn 3. Swamp into Thoughtseize. Makes me think they're probably on either mono black aggro or something similar. Sometimes blue-black control will start off like this, but not very regularly. I assume they'd say Karn here, but we will see. It's like Hangerback Walker. Interesting. Well, now we kind of wish they took Karn instead. Alright, looks like mono black vampires most likely. Let's play out Stonecoil Serpent and really hope to draw a land, specifically Darksteel Citadel would be great. Gifted Etherborn is such an annoying card to have to play against. Sorin, yep. That's a counter on Etherborn. It's fine, not attacking with it. Not a land. That's annoying. Alright. Well, we're not attacking into the 3/4 that can just eat anything. I haven't got a ton of reps in against the mono black vampires deck. Usually when I play against mono black, it's like the aggro, everything comes back from the graveyard type of deck. But I've seen vampires a few times. What's this one do? Becomes a 3/3 with Menace and exile target card from defending player's graveyard. Okay, essentially just a 3/3. Probably killing Steel Overseer. Yep. They have 2 cards in their hand now. If we can get Karns down, that would be very good. That gets us a Karn eventually. It's not necessarily what we wanted, though. Makes Gifted Aetherborn bigger and attacks in. We're not going to block. I feel like we're going to play Karn here and he's just going to be able to Fatal Push the token. But I guess that way at least we have an extra blocker. Or we could attack 3 as Sorin. I sort of think I'd rather have the extra blocker here. Because he doesn't know about the second Karn in our hand. We might be able to get rid of the Gifted Aetherborn in some way. Okay. So do we double block or do we chump? I think I just chump block here. Out of the Even Legion. Okay. 1 card in opponent's hand. Ooh. Antiquities War is a good draw. Three. You can get +3/+3. Do I play Karn or Antiquities War this turn? I think I'm going to attack Sorin for 5. Takes it. I think I'm going to play the other Karn. Make another guy. Opponent has 2 cards. Hardcast Champion of Dusk. Okay. They've got more cards in their hand now, but they're not playing a kill spell. Unless they play a land. So we know they're not pumping up Knight of the Even Legion. I still think they might have Fatal Push. But we might just have to force them to have it and try to kill the Gifted Aetherborn is what I'm thinking. He hasn't activated Karn yet either, or Sorin rather. So he could still just kill this. Yeah, because it's any target. I could see him sacking Knight of the Even Legion to kill Karn. attacks Karn. I think because Karn can die anyway, to him sacking the knight, I think we just take it. Puts a counter on Champion of Dusk. Okay. Is it only until end of turn that it has Death Touch and Lifelink? Yeah. Okay. I think what I want to do here is attack Sorin with 2 guys, maybe 3. He could still have Fatal Push. But I want Sorin off the board. I'll attack with 2. That forces him to either just lose Sorin or use a kill spell. Okay, Sorin's dead. We got rid of the 5/5. We get to play Antiquities War. Shadow Spear is a pretty good draw. Hope of Gearper is also decent, though. I think I'm going to play Shadow Spear out. Like so. We'll see what happens. He doesn't have his like weird vampire ether vial anymore, so that's nice. He has to actually use mana, even though he does still have a lot of it. Well, there's another Sorin. Ugh. 2 cards in opponent's hand. Yep. Not blocking that. Another Gifted Aetherborn, because of course there is. Okay. We draw an island, that's not ideal. We only have one choice there. He's at 38, so one swing with Antiquities War is not going to kill our opponent, unfortunately. It's fine. Just has a kill spell anyway. I guess he realized Sorin was gonna die there. So let's see. I can either block twice. Or block once and hope he doesn't have a kill spell. I think I'd rather do that because I need to gain some life here. But we'll see. Really don't think we'll be able to win this game. Yep. Alright, so what do I want? I think I want Phyrexian Revokers because of Sorin and Knight of the Eben Legion. So I'll grab those. I want Whirler Rogues. Or one, rather. Damping Sphere doesn't do anything. Grafdigger's Cage doesn't really do anything. Thopter Spy Network is interesting. Aether Sphere Harvester is interesting. What do I not want? Hope of Gearper doesn't really matter because he's not playing counter spells or a combo deck. Witching Well's probably a little too slow. Ensoul Artifact's probably fine. Karn was fine. Antiquities War was fine. Hangerback Walker is good enough for him to Thoughtseize it. I probably still want Emery. Ensoul Artifact and Blackstaff are still going to be decent, but I expect since he's a black deck, he's going to bring in the Legion's End card that will be able to kill, or exile rather, Darksteel Citadels. I might want Thopter Spy Network just because it can block forever. Yeah, I'm going to bring in a Thopter Spy Network and cut a Ensoul Artifact. I'll keep in the Metallic Rebukes and Emery. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't necessarily want to be on Ensoul plan against a deck that's full of kill spells, some of which will be able to deal with Darksteel Citadel after game 1. There's no second land in here, but the hand is pretty good. Since we're down a game, I don't think I really want to risk it. I'd rather mulligan here. Okay. I think we'll keep this and just ditch an Ensoul Artifact. We really want to draw a couple lands so we can play Sai and Thopter Spy Network, but I assume at least one of those is going to get Thoughtseized anyway. Hopefully we won't get stuck on lands this game. Just running out Mutavault so they can Thoughtseize Hangerback Walker here and we still have something to do on turn 2. Island, that's good. Go ahead and play Hangerback. Legion's End, that's fine. That is not them Thoughtseizing our Sai, so that's acceptable. It might be kind of awkward for them to try to actually kill Sai because 3 damage from Sorin doesn't kill it, Legion's End can't hit it, and unless they find something to sacrifice, Fatal Push doesn't hit it either. So they're forced to use like Heartless Act or Murderous Rider if they have that. Okay. Aetherfile mode, yep. Gets Kalitas. That's fine. That was a good draw. So now we can play Springleaf Drum for free. That's a synergy I really like with this deck. When Sai's out, you play Springleaf Drum, it makes the creature you can tap, so it doesn't feel like you played a spell, but your board gets wider. And now Thought Spy Network is going to be turned on for the rest of the game. And even though it only makes 1/1s, we will be able to get some card advantage off of our flying creatures. Hopefully they still won't be able to kill Sai, that would be nice. I will not jump block with my 1/4. Fatal Push, okay. And Heartless Act, okay. They've got all the kill spells. Yield. Island. I don't particularly want to Ensoul Springleaf Drum. But I do think that we need to get Sorin off the board. So I'll do it anyway. I'll get blown out if they have a Fatal Push or something here again, and can just block and kill my Mutavault and kill my Springleaf Drum. The reason I'm attacking with Mutavault is because I want to get Sorin off the board for sure. I'm okay with the zombie dying in exchange for it. And I already have 4 mana, so I can cast any of the spells that I top deck. They have 1 card in hand. Looks like they didn't have anything, because they're activating Castle Locthwain. Okay. I'll block Kalitas here. Metallic Rebuke is a good draw. Let's attack opponent with Springleaf Drum, get an extra card draw in. Ooh, Stonecoil Serpent. I'm gonna wait on playing that, because I don't want to play it as a 1/1 or a 2/2 necessarily, and I want to keep Metallic Rebuke up. I'll block again. Luckily the Thopters don't die and make zombie tokens for my opponent, so that's good. Now the Evil Legion, we don't have anything for that. Okay. Now I kind of wish I played Stonecoil Serpent. Darksteel Citadel is a good draw too. It's +3/+3. So how big can Kalitas get? He can sacrifice vampires or zombies, so he can get pretty big. I could attack into Night of the Ebon Legion and have Springleaf Drum die. Or I could hold it back. I'm gonna hold it back this turn. Play Stonecoil Serpent on 4. It kind of signals that I have a Metallic Rebuke or some kind of counterspell, but I don't really care at that point. I just don't want our opponents to play his 5-drop. And we're not going to get the extra card draw from Thought Spy Network this turn. How many times can I pump this? Twice. Okay. That kind of sucks. How big can Kalitas get? You can get 2 counters on it, so you'll have 8 power. Oh, I could try to block with multiple creatures on Kalitas to kill it. That's real risky. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9 in toughness. I'll try it, I guess. Our opponent hasn't been drawing too many non-lands lately, so I'll risk it. Reason we're not blocking Knife to Eben Legion is both I want to be able to attack and draw a card with Thopter Spy Network, and also if he sacrifices both of them to make Kalitas larger, then we're just fine with that. He did not have the kill spell. Beautiful. And there's second Kalitas. God damn it. Alright. I probably should have figured that was the case, but at least one of them's gone. And he didn't pop up Knight of the Eben Legion either. Interesting. Alright. Let's attack with our flyer. Draw an extra card. I'd really like to draw another size soon. Metallic Rebuke's not bad either. Alright, Phyrexian Revoker is going to name... Kalitas, because I don't want it to grow. I'd rather just chump block Knight of the Eben Legion than have a really large life linker continuing to gain our opponent life. Gifted Aetherborn. No other cards in opponent's hand. Draws a card with Locthwain, that's fine. I really like Thopter Spy Network against most black decks for this reason, because it's really hard for them to kill it, and if you get to a board stall like this where nobody's really dying anymore, it essentially generates 2 cards a turn as long as I can keep attacking. Legion's End. That is not happening. I can't believe Metallic Rebuke actually came in handy this late in the game. That was very nice. And he concedes to that. I think that was a little premature to concede, but we definitely had more of a chance that game than we did the game before. So let's see. We saw Legion's End, so I was right about Ensoul not being great. I don't really think that we want Aethersphere Harvester still. I might cut one more Ensoul and add Witching Well, actually, because it's good for when we get to the later game. Spell Pierce, not great. Spell Pierce could get like a Sorin or something early game, but as a late game draw, like you saw there, because they have Nykthos, it's like impossible to hit anything with a mana leak. We just got really lucky. Disdainful Stroke hits Kalitas, but it doesn't hit it if it gets vialed in by Sorin. So I think I'm fine with the deck as it is now. Just cutting one more Ensoul artifact down to 2, and putting in Witching Well. Witching Well started off as a 2-of in the deck. I've been thinking about going up on them again, just because it's very good. Let's see. This hand's okay. I don't really expect a... It's possible for a 6-card hand to be better than this, but I think this is good enough to keep. I don't want to get trapped mulliganing with no lands or anything like that again. Springleaf Drum made this hand much better. Reason we didn't run out an Ornithopter or Stone Coil Serpent there is just so they don't Fatal Push our Birds of Paradise. Ooh. Sai is an excellent draw there. Well, I need to play an Ornithopter first. That's also a reason that we didn't play Ornithopter first. Because now we get to do this. And if I wanted, I could play Stone Coil Serpent on 0 and just make another 1/1, but it's probably not worth it here. Because we don't have a guarantee that we're going to be able to play Karn next turn. Turn 2 Sai is one of the more powerful things that the deck can do. And that is not one of the more powerful things that our opponent does on turn 3, so that's great. I'll take 2. I don't really care about it here. Okay. So let's play Steel Overseer. I assume that Steel Overseer is going to get Fatal Push. Seems unlikely that it wouldn't. But if they're going to Fatal Push something, they pretty much have to pick that one. Because we're going wide as hell now. Attack with Thopter. And I'll hold back Sai to block Dusk Legion Zealot if he attacks with it, because I don't want to trade, but I'd rather get it off the board. If he doesn't have Kill Spell for Steel Overseer, the game's essentially over, I think. Just because it adds about 8 power to the board when it attacks, when it taps rather. Especially after we play either Whirler Rogue into it, or Karn, or top deck another artifact. The only thing that we really don't want to draw here is more 4-drops. Sorin can kill Steel Overseer. Yep. That's fine. We can pressure Sorin, so that's great. Didn't attack with Gifted Aetherborn, that's great too. Springleaf Drum is free. Now if he has a kill spell for one of our other creatures, we can sacrifice that plus like an Ornithopter to draw a card with Sai. I think I'm going to attack Sorin with 3 Thopters here. Just to pressure it into getting off the board. That way we should be able to kill it with flying creatures next turn. And we can follow that up with playing Karn, Whirler Rogue, or whatever we top deck. It would also, if we draw Antiquities War here, I'm definitely playing that first because of the amount of just tokens and random crap that we have on the board currently. Legion's End would be a blowout, just because it gets to 4-for-1 us, but we get to sacrifice, at least this turn if he plays it, we get to sacrifice whatever he targets with Sai to draw a card. Sai having that extra sacrifice ability is ridiculous. Love that card. In fact, I think I might just sacrifice the 2 Ornithopters this turn anyway. Maybe? We'll see what happens. I'd like to draw another, like, land and 1-drop into one of those would be nice. Or just increasing our chance of drawing Antiquities War would be good. Sacrifices a vampire. Targets, I assume, like Stone Coil Serpent. He might just be turning on Fatal Push here. Cool. Darksteel Citadel, that's good. I'm going to play Karn first and then Whirler Rogue next turn because Karn's going to be able to make tokens and then Whirler Rogue's going to be able to make them unblockable, and that's how I should be able to kill our opponent. Attack Sorin, attack Sorin, attack Sorin. Yep. That is going to open us up to a Legion's End. That's not the end of the world. Fatal Push. That resolves. Karn makes a big boy. That is one thing that I really enjoy playing about this deck that I didn't enjoy so much about playing the blue-red version of the Ensoul deck, is while this deck is slower, the power of the synergies is kind of ridiculous. Sai with pretty much anything in the deck, Sai with Karn, Sai with Steel Overseer like we saw earlier, Sai with Antiquities War is great, we saw that last match. Sai makes drawing Ornithopters and Springleaf Drums later in the game feel much less terrible. The card's just kind of ridiculous. Cletus, only 1 mana up. So something kind of funny we can do here if we draw another mana source, specifically a land, is we could play Whirler Rogue, we could start attacking with the constructs, make them unblockable, and then when and if our opponent attacks with lifelink creatures, we can block and then sacrifice them with Sai to prevent the life gain. That's one of the best ways that this deck has to beat the kills Karn, that's acceptable. That's one of the best ways that this deck has to beat the like Pioneer Bogles deck, because they'll make a 20/20 with lifelink, but as long as it doesn't have trample, we can just keep blocking it with Thopters and sacrificing them forever. Alright, opponent. There we go. So let's get Sorin off the board. Thopter Spy Network is kind of nice. It's not as good as just having an unblockable threat, though, I think. Get in for 11 and kill Sorin. Beautiful. Yeah, if he attacks here, we're probably not blocking unless we just chump block with the Thopter token. Just because we're still at 18. Our opponent's kind of been running on empty as far as things to do lately, so that's nice. Yep. Yep, attacking with a lifelink creatures. No blocks, not worth it right now. I would have liked to be able to stop that life gain, but because we're attacking for 11 unblockable each turn currently, it doesn't actually change the combat math. Sorin, that's fine. Probably kills Whirler Rogue, I would assume. Okay. Yeah, he's got to be killing Whirler Rogue here. It's the only thing that makes sense to me, at least. Yep. That's acceptable. So our construct doesn't have unblockable anymore, which is very sad, but we still get to attack a million billion times. Let's see. I'm gonna pressure Sorin, but not kill it, I think. And I'd rather play Thopter Spy Network. than a big stone coil serpent. Let's begin combat. Attack Soren, attack Soren, attack Soren, and one at our opponent to draw a card. Draws a land. I think instead of playing Stone Coil Serpent, I'm going to leave up the Psi activation. Because Legion's End on Thopter is still one of the worst things that can happen to us. Nykthos. Our opponent is really flooding out pretty hard. Champion of Dusk. Draws a bunch of cards. No longer flooding. Draw the extra card. Okay. Karn's a good draw. Opponent could still just Thoughtseize us here, but we'll see. We are going to need to start chump blocking soon. I don't particularly want to chump with the Ornithopters because I don't want our opponent to get more of the 2/2 zombies, but we'll see. The Even Legion, okay. Oh, opponent needs to start acting a bit faster. He's only got 5 minutes left. This game has gotten very grindy compared to where we started. Opponent has not activated Soren yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll chump with an Ornithopter. Try to preserve life total. Reason we didn't block with Psi is because we didn't want our opponent to be able to Lightning Helix the Psi with Soren. What does he kill here? Stone Coil Serpent, maybe? Yep. Yield. Island. Okay. So I'm going to draw a card and get Soren off the board. Or at least attempt to. And then I'm going to see how many blockers I can make to stay alive for a while. Island. Okay. Now my options are I either leave up Psi activation or Stone Coil Serpent and make another blocker. Opponent has 2 cards in hand. I think he would have killed Psi already if he had a removal spell, or at least an appropriate one. Yeah, even if he had Fatal Push, he would have been able to kill Psi. I think I just want more blockers here. Just make as many as possible. Six mana. Champion of Dusk. Ugh. Opponent's got a full grip now. And 6 mana still. Plays a Castle Locked Lane. Oh my god. Well, there's the Legion's End. That we really didn't want to happen. Oh my god. So I definitely should have left up the Psi activation. And we are just dead. Block the best we can, die anyway. Alright, that's round 2.